Hi guys, Sarah, Northwoods Stitcher here. I've been meaning to get a video up for you guys, so happy Easter! I've been trying to clean my craft room so I can give you more of a tour, and in the midst of cleaning, I have actually found more projects and things that I should do to show you, so it's like being a crow and seeing something shiny and being totally totally distracted. But I did want to start off by talking about we were going to discuss framing and what tools to get to do some simple home framing. So this is actually one of the problems I ran into. I found a mat that fit this cross stitch quite well. This is not completed. I have stuff underneath the glass that I have to pull out and dust off still. This was a quick set to see how it would all fit, if I liked it going together. Frame came from Goodwill. The mat was already pre-cut. Turns out it was part of my father's collection. I think he didn't want to use it because it was a little crooked. I framed it up a little bit and trimmed it here and there to fit this frame. The opening was already cut and beveled by him with a framer's mat boards cutter. I didn't get out my mat board for this. I got out just my trusty snap blade X-Acto knife. So this is just like my needlework scissors. It only sees mat board and it only sees foam board. It's not used on anything else ever, so it stays super sharp. If it does dull out, you can see, hopefully I can get it in the video. You see where there's some lines in it? That's where you snap off the blade tip. And it's like having a new blade underneath it. So you go on to the next blade to be your point. You can see those little striations in there. So it's always sharp. Nobody's allowed to touch it. It's kept in my secret framer's drawer up here. So what I did was I cut down the mat to fit the frame. And then I cut an old piece of not very good shape. I guess this is just like poster board backing that I had a big piece of to fit this 12 by 16 frame. And you can see the little tabs were already in the frame, but there's some missing. And that's where I'm going to show you what you need to get in order to make your own point system here. Now these are flexible, and the ones that I use are not flexible. You can't bend them back and forth. So it's the last stage of framing when you're really setting it in. Then I write up a little detail of what the cross stitch is. This cross stitch, I just love this. It was such fun to stitch, so quick. I think I did it so quickly, my husband was like, I don't remember you doing that. So I pulled out the dates. I said, well, I did this on March 16th to the 30th of last year. And he went, really? It says my diary. This is Victoria House Designs. Her name is Victoria. She's found on Etsy. I did this called 2 Hearts, 1 Love on a 28 count Joblin. It's called Forget Me Not Blue. It is actually a blue. Kind of looks gray with a gray mat. But she's got some awesome designs. I really need to go back and buy a whole bunch more because her designs are just lovely and lots of fun to stitch. So I'm going to show you the tool that I'm going to use to push these points in. Now these are called Framer's Points. You see how they're kind of shaped like number ones? They're little metal. They might be aluminum. I don't know if they're aluminum or steel. But made in the USA. Shaped like number ones. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them online. You can get them anywhere. Then you get, this is called a Fletcher is the brand. It's a Fletcher framer's tool or frame mate. This is what you actually put you load the little points onto that magnet and then you squeeze it into the frame. So it's going to kind of look like that. I'm going to show you a demonstration of it. I can't do it with one hand. And all you do is set this gauge to the size of your frame or the thickness of your frame because you want it to be just set into the wood, maybe a 1/4 inch, no more, no less. I'll give you a little demonstration of that as soon as I take a break. It's got little rubber bumpers to protect the wood. This part is magnetic to hold the point. And I will tell you, the first time you get this tool, you'll say, what am I doing? I can't use this. I probably wanted to throw it across the room a few times when I first got it, but now I can't live without it. You get used to it, you figure out the coordination, the tension. When you start setting them after the second or third one, you get on a roll. It's great. It's really great. You can remove these after you have set them, just with some pliers, or you can get a type of tool. It's called a pull mate. This is called a push mate. So that's my next show and tell. Now, this is for, and I'm not going to say it properly because I probably don't use this tool properly, and I apologize for that. I think it's called Glazing Points. Like I said, this is a push mate by Fletcher. Now, for framing and glazing points, my understanding is the glazing points are probably used like the triangle, metal triangle points. The glazing points are going to look like, and I do have a picture on the back here. Looks like something out of Star Wars. You see how that's beveled? And you can push either the triangular metal pieces. Now maybe those are the framing points and these are the glazier, probably. But those are used for holding in glass is my understanding, because it goes on the inside. I guess you could use them also for mat board and foam board. I have before. But this tool will push that Star Wars fighter up into the wood with ease. Very little force. Of course, this only works on wood frames. I have tried one of those horrible plasticized ones. No go. Some of the plastic is actually soft enough to do it. It's worth trying if the frame's free, or if it's a 50-cent frame. But those are some of the best tools you can get. I just keep my little leftover framer's points in a little jelly jar in a drawer. Also, if you have some fraying going on, if you don't want to use the tape, some people use masking tape or the cloth medical tape, you could also use something called Dritz Fray Check. Maybe some of you have seen that. The only problem with this is that you have to wait for it to dry. I'm very impatient. That's a problem for me. To use, unscrew cap. Puncture the tip with a pin. Test in an inconspicuous area. And yes, it does say apply a small amount. A little goes a long way, I will say that. And if you let it dry, it's not so stiff that it's uncomfortable and scratches you. It's just enough to keep the edges from continuously pulling out, which can also drive you crazy. It really depends on what you're working with. Oh, and I wanted to do a shout out. I found out that 2 eclectic stitchers, they're out in Arizona. You guys may already watch them, Angie and Penny. They are fantastic enablers. And they gave me a shout out, and I just wanted to say, hey, give them a shout out too. They had some great frame pairings. They've got some good stuff if you want to go and take a peek. Visit their Flosstube. Also, the other gal, what was her name? Recovering Monogamous Stitcher. And she's in Kentucky, if I remember. Wanted to give her a shout out because every time you open up her Flosstube, your jaw just drops. She's got a beautiful quilt behind her. She's got so many projects going. It's lovely. And I feel like she's part of my sisterhood because I have way too many projects going at once too. So it's a good comfort space. So she talks about quilting, sewing, cross stitch, a little bit of everything. Her name's Karen, and she's lovely. Go check out her stuff too. What else did I have on my list? I'm learning about editing. I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be hopefully gathering some different pictures and information of similar things that you guys are doing. If I show you a pattern and maybe you guys are doing it too, we can talk about, I can put up your picture and say, well, she's doing it on this thread or this fabric with these colors. I'm doing it on this. And then we'll have a great comparison, because it's really nice to be able to look at something in different lights. And some of us have some color phobe issues. I know I do. It's very hard for me to look at something and imagine it on a different fabric. And sometimes even pulling the threads and laying them up against the fabric causes me to, I don't know, short circuit, because I'm not quite sure what to do. I have a few recent whips that I wanted to show you as well. Also working on fixing up how to display to you guys a mill hill production, because I want to show how to do a mill hill kit and not be intimidated by them, but just get some more confidence in applying the beads, studying the charts. And in order to do that, I'm going to be using a camera above my workstation looking down, so you get to see my fingers. I've been doing a couple of test runs with that. It's not going so well, so I'll just keep at it and see what I can do. And I'm going to pause right here, give you a little demonstration on those framing tools, and be right back. So I've brought my frame downstairs. I'm going to get ready to give you guys a demonstration using this tool. I have put it face down on one of my placemats to give it some cushion. And like I said, we're going to try to size. You see where it's going to hang over the edge here. Those are the little bumpers. And I'm going to give it a squeeze on the trigger. And give it a squeeze here. And it's might push all the way. See, there's a little gap there between the frame. That might be enough for the point to actually push it in. So I might leave it there. Let's see. Hold on. All right, so I think I figured out my recipe. I've adjusted this wheel yet again. Slid that a little closer so I have a better tightness here. I have loaded the magnet with the point. And now I'm going to apply more pressure on the front, making sure that the bumpers are up against the frame, but not too much pressure that I'm going to snap the glass. Firmness, I should say. Squeeze the trigger. And the point is set. It is more than snug. I can't move it. Very tight. And I am going to add a few more around the corner here. And you see this space down here. I'm probably going to put about 3 here, maybe 2. We'll see. So I'm loading the tip. That magnet holds it in place pretty well. It's okay if it's a little crooked. That space is good. Put one here. Again, bumpers up against the frame. A little more pressure on the front than the back. Squeeze the trigger and then pull the trigger all the way. Very snug. Loading the magnet. This feels snug. I'm going to rotate this on its placemat. I think I'll put one in the corner here. Bumpers are up against the frame. A little pressure on the front. Pull the trigger, and it's set. Let's do another 2. You can find most of these tools in the hardware store or on Amazon. You possibly can find them in Michael's. I haven't really looked. Oops, that one went in a little crooked. Just kind of moved it with my thumb to pull it out, reset it since it's not bent or warped. Try it again. Perfect. Now you can see this was a professional frame. So I had peeled off the paper backing. It had some little felt bumpers on it, so I'm going to keep those there. This tells me that it was wood, and I could put a new piece of framers paper over the back, but I think I'll leave this one open because I did cut the fabric and just tape it down, which means possibly in a few years I'll have to take it out and iron it. Nobody's going to look at the back but me. Check the front for any, I call them boogers under the frame. Nope, we're good. Looks good. So those are the basic tools that you need to do your own framing with secondhand frames. Hopefully you found that helpful. I'm by no means a professional framer, and I've just figured out what tools I can use that help me with old frames or used frames that I pick up in my collections. And I am very happy with how it came out. I don't recall how much I paid for the frame, but I know it was no more than $5 because I think $5 is my absolute limit, even for something this size. So again, check out this Etsy website, Victoria at Victoria House Designs. She's got some gorgeous stuff. I might do some shopping too tonight. Really, please take this downstairs and find a place to hang it. More than likely, it's going to have to go into my Valentine collection just because I have so much stuff on my walls. But, you know, this happens. Wanted to show you guys some other stitches that I've started. I've had this for a very long time, and it was only recently during a trip up to Lakeside Stitches that I discovered, with some help from Patty up there, my Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, with silver buttons all down her back, by La-Di Da. She had the perfect fabric. She helped me find in her shop a picture of this plus fabric, 28 count. Is it Ugana? Just linen. Cyprium or Cyprium. Absolutely perfect color for this. Let me take off my working graphs. I don't do anything wrong. But how wonderful are these colors? I think that's really going to make it pop. I'm using just a 310 DMC because I actually have a spool of it. So that'll be great. Can't wait to start the border and Miss Mary Mac in the center here. It's going to be really fun to frame this one. What year was this? I seem to be really hung up on ears, but I know I had this stitch for quite a while. It was kind of frustrating waiting to find the perfect fabric. The fabric had to speak to me. That's what it was. It's a 2003. Had it for a while, but that's okay. A few of you have sent in a few designs from that book that I showed in my last video, which is not right at my fingertips, but well, it's somewhere nearby. Where on earth did I put it? Maybe I do need to clean my craft room. Here it is. I know some of you have ordered this book, which is really cool. But some people have sent in some of their finished designs out of this. So I will start one from here and we'll do a side-by-side. She used this stuff, I use this stuff to see how it comes out because some of these designs are just incredible. I did find another book, however, that I had in my collection. Yes, I have quite a few. And this here is a 2022 Cross Stitch Christmas, Heart of the Holidays. You can see I did some more damage. Inside the books you get a little mini pamphlet with stitches in it. And on the front side, I noticed this little cabin. I really fell in love with it. But on the back, I fell in love with the little fox. So I thought, well, why don't I make up, I'll set a goal. I'll make 12. So I told you I make one to give and one to gift. But wouldn't these be perfect for some of my overseas Christmas cards? That they're light. I can turn them into ornaments, stick them in the card, design a card around the ornament hanging off the front. So all they have to do is pull the ornament through the front of the card. And then the postage will be probably $5, $6. But I can't stop stitching these. I love them. So the goal is 6 of each, 6 foxes, 6 cabins. And I just wanted to point out too, I was talking about the die lots being different. Can you guys see the difference? This one is lighter than that. And it wasn't due to any kind of sun exposure that I am aware of, because I keep my threads in a closet. But it was really noticeable. I was stitching with this lighter one. I don't remember, it's a 436 maybe. And I noticed I'm going to run out. But I had just enough. So I did add it to the tip of his tail and then started with a new thread. But thank goodness I didn't stop part way. I just caught that. And the cabins, those are going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to pick out probably a maroon or a dark green background. Well, probably dark green because that'll go for all of them. And when I start putting these together, I'll show you. I have this wonderful little project bag, and I have the matching big one to keep all of my foxy materials in. It's going to be a lot of fun to work in those. But also in this book, I have to show you guys, I'm not a snowman person, probably because most of the snowmen you see are very clown-like. You know, they're overly animated or overly scary looking. Here is a classic snowman. Almost vintage. They call it Victorian cream. I really love this guy. I think I have to stitch him. So he's tabbed down in the book. Also, I really fell in love with the color of the fabric, but look at that design. That's going to be fun to stitch. And something I can do in front of the TV without much thought. Another thing I found in here were some perforated paper tags that I will turn into something else. Maybe ornaments or possibly some card fronts. And look at that adorable pillow. The other side's a kitty cat. It was really cute. Oh, this one. Northward Bound. Very striking. I do see some metallics being pulled out for this one. Awaken your stitching wanderlust with pieces inspired by the gorgeous hues. Yeah, it's pretty. You don't need to give me the description. Cute little stocking. My word. Glad I didn't fold down. I had too many fold downs in here. So this is the cover They have the chart in here, of course. But I really like this guy too. I think I might add some buttons to that. I have some heart buttons. So cross stitch Christmas, heart of the holidays. This is a Craftways production, Craftways Corporation. It is only just a year out. If you have to have it, go look for it. I'll bet you it's going to be about $6. If it's not, it will be next year or even less the year after that. Just keep a notebook with all these little notes in it. That's what I do. Wait for the sale. So that's that. That's Miss Mary Mac over there. Do some things before I trip on anything. I went to the dollar store and I found something that I thought, well, maybe I'll use it for cards. Well, won't these look cute in the bottom of a frame? Why not? Bunnies. And what's so exciting is they're already finished. So I can just stick it on a card front with a Happy Easter stamp at the top. Or I could put him in the bottom of a frame corner, which I don't happen to have. But imagine, if you will, this to be a white frame for an Easter stitch. That would be really cute. And it wouldn't do any damage, especially if you use something like a glue dot. If you don't know what a glue dot is, it's just a gummy round dot that comes on a roll. You can get them at most craft stores. And they're great for card making, but they're also great for sticking your candles and your candle bases and having it hold solid. Glue dots can be peeled off. I don't think they're acid free. They might be. I use them for like glass work, or even just sticking on something on a piece of wood if you don't want to use a glue gun or something super adhesive. It's a really great thing. These were $6 for $1, but I'm anxious to play with those. Other than that, I haven't really been out shopping. I've been fairly good this week, with the exception of some online shops. That reminds me, I went through some of my stuff. I wonder where I put it. And I wanted to give a shout out. I remembered where these came from. This pattern, as well as this one, I found with Teresa over at the Crafty Grimalkin. So it was on her website. I looked at these and I think I showed them in an earlier video, and I thought, when did I shop for those? They made it upstairs, which was a miracle. You should see my coffee table downstairs. But these are the ones I want to kit up soon, so they're up here right now. So go check out the Crafty Grimalkin. And she's got some great stuff over there. And I did place an order with, if you guys haven't heard, crossstitchingsupplies.com. I want to make sure I got that right. crossstitchingsupplies.com. Lindsay is closing her online shop. She is probably very close to closing, but go to her website. She's got some discounted items, and she's got an incredible collection of stuff. It's just, she's super fast in shipping. If you have any questions, drop her an email. She's great at responding. She might be really out straight right now, but I did buy a ton of stuff recently. So I'm anxiously waiting for that. We'll do an unboxing. Hope you guys are having a nice, relaxing weekend. But I'm going to sign off and go eat some Easter chocolate. Hope you guys have a great Easter weekend and happy stitching. And be safe.